5 ways to get more eyes on your reports and how you can turn your corporate communication report into a powerful marketing tool. I have a typo, but we'll make it work. So before I start rambling in your ears, I just want to introduce myself so you know who's doing all the talking. My name is Heidi Bordal. I work as a community manager at StoryKit, meaning I handle the distribution of content in our own channels, which are the social platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X, and the rest. I host these kind of things where I try to inspire you, because I know that all of you are sitting on a bunch of great content, and I just want to share some ways that you can share it with the world. I do our newsletter and some digital events. That's me. I've been at StoryKit for 2.5 years now, which is pretty long, since we've grown so much in the latest 2 years. But I love it. And I'm not leaving. I'm kidding. Before we start, something that I love to highlight is our Facebook community. It's called Video for Social Media. I've included the link for the slide deck to send you afterwards, but you can just type in Video for Social Media at any time. I think we're about 3,600 members, and we weekly share how-tos, did you know, feature updates, inspirational videos from us and from other customers, and just share what we know about video and how we can distribute even more. So please join. We're a group of 6-7 people right now. We have marketers, customer success managers, product managers, copywriters, a bunch of inspirational colleagues of mine that share all that we know about how you can leverage your distribution with StoryKit. And this is the agenda of what I will be talking to you about. So the main topic is, of course, how to turn your corporate communication reports into a powerful marketing tool, and how distribution will get more eyes on your report, and we'll go through a tailored process to effectively distribute your report. I'll go through some steps on how we do it and ways that I think giving all of the time you've spent writing a report a second life with video, and just giving it the best possible conditions to perform and to get in front of the right people. And then I will, of course, share some video ideas and show you exactly how you can create them today. And we'll have time for a Q&A at the end. So I think we'll start with just briefly going, or I'll try to convince you on why you should use social media to distribute a report and use it to get more eyes on it. Because I think that delivering engaging corporate communications, it's such a, it's not like the sexiest word, corporate communication, but it can have like a significant impact on your brand. Not only to your future or at the time, your clients right now, but also on your future ones, your future investors, how your customers perceive you, and your sales. And I think that the main advantages of using social media to do this is, well, there's always advantages in becoming your own media house, because not only can you take control over the messaging and what's in the report, you can also take control of your target audiences. And we'll go through audiences a little bit later, because one report, regardless of how short or long it is, different parts of your report can appeal to different audiences. And social is a great way to reach all of the smaller groups of who you're trying to talk to. And reports are always valuable, but they're more or less only valuable if they get in front of the eyes of the right people. And why would we do this with video? Well, I think I show this tweet by Twitter's, he's still the CEO, I think, or X, Elon Musk, because he said in May, and this holds for every social platform, that the more screen time user spends looking at a post, whether it's a text, a pic, or a video, the more it's boosted. Because platforms love screen time. And video posted natively to this platform, and natively meaning that you actually log into Twitter and you post it in the app or at your desktop, rather than using a third-hand publisher posting program, will be boosted more than an external link, because way more time is spent watching a video than clicking on a link. And I know that this can get a bit confusing, because why would I want to make someone spend more time when the attention spans are so short? But what he means here, I guess, I've never talked to him yet, but if you click on a link, links are great. I mean, I'm not saying you should never do links, you should, but they won't be boosted, because it means that you're leading your audience away from the platform. And every social platform wants to keep their audiences on the platform. If you're clicking a link, that will only take a second or two, and you will leave it. But if you spend a minute watching a video, that means you've kept the audiences at the place where you should, and that will be boosted by everyone. So I think this sums it up. So let's say that you spent hours, you've poured your heart and soul into crafting a 5 pages or 50 pages long report. But what happens now? Well, the struggle with posting a link, not only that you're leading someone away from the platform, is that trying to convince someone to read a whole report is hard and tough, because reading a long piece of text is time consuming and a lot of the times overwhelming. I mean, I remember from back in the days when I was at the university and I had to read a 20-page long report. That felt overwhelming, when the only thing that I was looking for was a small paragraph. And as I said earlier, is that a report only really has a value when it reaches the right audience and when the right people engage with it. And links are great. You should still occasionally post a link so that the people that want to can consume the whole report. But the problem with the links is that only the most dedicated people are going to click on it. But you don't want just the most dedicated people, you want everyone, or more or less everyone. And as I've been saying a couple of times now, is that they won't be boosted by the platforms. They will most likely go to the place where posts, the graveyard of posts, because you're leading somewhere away from it. So these are the struggles. And I mean, this goes for every type of longer piece of content. If it's a longer article or a long blog post, or a webinar that you've held, It's going probably to be consumed because what you're doing is valuable to a lot of people, but for someone to click on it is more or less asking for a lot. So what we want to do is that we want to lower the threshold of consuming the most important content in your report. We want to get more eyes on it. That's what we all want to do. And in turn, we want to increase our reach, increase our engagement, grow our audiences, probably also grow our brand awareness. And using reports to do that is an perhaps underused thing among marketers. Also, maybe before I go into the solution to all of this that I have no, but that we are going to talk about is there are like a couple of mistakes that I think a lot of us do, myself included. Is of course number one, that we only show the big report. We're promoting the full thing and we're trying to direct traffic, but that's a lot of the times just going to turn people away. But instead, creating attractive smaller pieces of content, this is one part of the solution, will definitely attract a broader audience. And there's always a lot of times a lack of targeting, lack of targeting, because as I said before, different parts of your report will appeal to different people. So that's also something that we're going to look into. And we're not using enough of the channels that are out there. Solely relying on one distribution method like an email, it limits our reach, and just preventing us from reaching the right eyes. So the solution to all of this, and as I said, this goes for any piece of longer content that you've spent so much time crafting, writing, creating, is the solution to all of this is snackable content, because it will be consumed by more than just the most dedicated ones. It's also more digestible because, as we were said before, small pieces of content are made for engagement, and engagement is always a good thing. And as I always say, and I think I say this at every webinar as well, but if it's one thing that I really want you to take with you when you leave, is that I am certain that more distribution leads to more reach. And as I always say, distribution and quality are they're linked. And the only way to know if you've distributed something well enough or good enough, quality is a whole other webinar, but the only way to know what works and what resonates with your audience is publishing a lot. But of course, we want to work smarter, not harder. And by just crafting out a process for creating multiple pieces of snackable content, doesn't have to be that tough. We can make it work. And as I've also, it feels like I'm starting every sentence with as I've said before, but repetition is a good thing. Both your audience, the viewers of the content, and the platforms, they like and they boost in-feed content, because the less I have to do when I'm scrolling my social feed, the more inclined I'll be to consume it. And the platforms want you to stay at the platforms, so they also like in-feed content. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't occasionally do converting content. Like if you want someone, we also have to create content to drive traffic and to, we want to increase our downloads, or we want more clicks somewhere. But right now I'm just talking about how to distribute more, to grow your audiences, to reach more of the right people, and to boost, to give everything that you've spent so much time doing, just giving it a second life and making it justice and giving it the attention it deserves. So the solution to all of this is, of course, according to me, and I'm sure a lot of you would agree, that it's text-based videos. And I think the main reason that I like text-based videos so much is that I don't have to interrupt other people while I'm creating content, if that makes sense. I ask for a lot of bunch of amazing articles every week, and it's my job to make sure that people see it. And so I can just use whatever she's already given me. And that allows me to publish a lot and grow. I just saw that I had a few questions in the chat. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to write you in the chat. I saw some questions about the sound of my mic. I'm in the I see to have unstable internet connection. Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. My sound should be working. Okay, we hear me now. Thank you for letting me know, and just all good again. Thank you, Christian, and the rest of you for letting me know. I'm sorry. I just received like a pop-up that my internet's not stable. But yeah, c'est la vie, am I right? Okay. Yes, so text-based videos is of course what we're all about, and we're gonna go into yeah, so it lets us fire out content without ever having to go into the advanced and complicated video editing software that few of us perhaps have knowledge about. It lets us scale our content, meaning that if you have one piece of short text, you can share it in so many different ways by just changing a few assets, changing a few slide types, mixing the narrative a bit up, not mixing it up, but doing some changes in your storyline, your storytelling. And once again, it's favored by the platforms, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel because you've already done the hard part, and this is about giving it second life. You have all of your text in your report, and this is about distributing the text that you have. Okay, so I hope you can hear me, but I want to share how I work with distribution and our kind of point of view on it, because when you say video, loads of people still think that you have to log into, I don't want to say any names, but some kind of Adobe program maybe, or something more advanced. I had 0 to none experience in working with video before I started at StoryKit. And when I learned as an intern that my job would be to distribute content on social media with video, I was obviously terrified. But these days, I don't see video as a file format. I see it as a distribution format. And that's what I want to share with you. And we'll go through the 5 steps, as we call it, and just try to frame distribution process. And it looks something like this. And I'm certain and I'm sure that these words, like the goals and the audience and the channels, they already make a lot of sense to you, that they might feel a bit obvious. But when it comes to, so I want to dig deeper into how to distribute longer pieces of content, and specifically reports today. So we'll obviously start with goals. I used to consider goals as just, well, I want a bunch of likes and I want loads of followers and I want to be like Skanska on social media, with hundreds of thousands of followers, and I just want to pump out great content. And that's still my goal. Obviously, I want to be Skanska or any other big company. But I think it's equally important to set your goals for every single little piece of content that you post. Every little video has to have its own goal, because that will make the distribution and the content that you deliver even better. So it could be drive traffic to a page. We want to make people go to a landing page so that they can download a report, or consume something else, or maybe sign in with deliver an email address so that we can reach more people that way. Or we want to increase engagement across one or multiple channels, or just make sure that the content gets consumed by distributing the information. So every little piece of content should have its own goal. And even though I'm talking in-feed content right now, as I said, we want to do content that drives people somewhere as well. We want to increase our web traffic and we want to boost downloads. But I know that I will write a better script. I'll have a better, I'll just do better storytelling if I know what I'm trying to get people to do. I sound like a manipulative person here, but you understand, as marketers, you know what I'm talking about. And this also, we're not going to go into that much about like the video narrative itself, but if I want to convert someone, if I want someone to take action based on the video that I'm making, if it's discover more on our blog or download the full report here, I'll probably make a bit more of an ad type of video. I'll keep it probably super short, maybe like 10 to 15 seconds. I will highlight something super interesting and we'll watch and see how we can do that later. But if I just want to take some, if I want to do some takeaways from my report for the sake of engagement and reach, I have time to broaden the storytelling a bit. I have the time to tell a whole story. And the next one is your audiences. Because different parts of one report might appeal to different audiences. So if I have a lot of financial insights on how well my company did previous year, or how we ended this quarter with lots of new investors, that's going to be interesting to my stakeholders, but perhaps not to my future clients. And I might have one part of my report that goes through the sustainability work that we do. Well, that might be super interesting for my future investors, but this is information that my stakeholders probably already have. And the public, meaning the parts of the report that's only if you have one that's like the nice to know, if you have some new findings or insights, if you've conducted some sort of super interesting research that you want to provide to the public, that's one audience as well. And of course, what does your clients want to know? How can they benefit from your report and everything that you know? So different parts, different audiences. Only way to reach them is to give them different kinds of content. And we get the question a lot that what if I post too much so that I don't want to bore my stakeholders with sustainability facts or efforts. And I don't want to bore people out with financial insights when I'm talking to my audiences, which is the public. But I can assure you, no, I'm not going to make any promises, but the risk when you publish something organically, you're not boosting it or putting money behind it. The risk of it, or the possibility of it reaching that many people that you want to reach, is so small. I work with organic distribution. I know it's a hustle. It's sometimes you feel like you're standing in a crowded room and you're screaming and no one hears you. So if I'm the public and I see something about financial insights, I'll just keep scrolling. But then I scroll for maybe 30 seconds and something pops up about the sustainability efforts that might actually have value to me, and I'll stop. And I know that my manager, Jonna Ekman, our marketing director, she did a webinar for a huge publishing company in the UK. And before that, since she was talking about that there's so much you can create video from that they're already doing, she had a look at the biggest publishing companies in Sweden, and I think some international ones. And she saw that some of the companies in Sweden, they publish 40 times a day. That's a lot. And some of these I follow myself. And I don't think I've ever felt that I'm overwhelmed with content from these companies or these social accounts, because I will only be reached by the things that resonates with me, because the algorithms are so good these days. They know that, okay, this has to do with financial stuff. Heidi won't be interested in that. So I really think that you shouldn't be afraid to publish a lot. I don't think, but this is we'll get into this later on. It's just that it's one of my favorite topics to talk about. But okay, there's different audiences in your report, and reach them by publish more. And then there's the channels, of course. Obviously, different people will use different social channels to consume educational and informative and entertaining content. But this also, the channel that you decide to post on will also impact your distribution formats. I mean, if I have a report and I will post some highlights from it on Twitter, I'll probably make a thread, because Twitter loves threads, because as soon as you click like view thread, and enough people do that, they will boost your content. I will also always include a video, because in my head, at least, I picture Elon Musk seeing me publish a video and he will be like, yep, StoryKit's content, take it up a notch. That's maybe not relevant, but I mean, I will use different distribution formats. I'm not saying that everything you do should be video, but everything you do can be video. So you have to, you can always use different ones. And that also goes for the type of video that you will make. If you're on TikTok, you could probably make a snappier, you'll use sound in a different way. But if you're on LinkedIn, that can also have an impact on how you deliver your messages. And this is like talking about stereotypes perhaps, but for example, just to make things a little clearer, is that I will probably post more financial insights on LinkedIn than I will on Instagram, since when I'm on LinkedIn, I might actually be interested in a company's financial situation because I'm in my work persona. But when I'm scrolling Instagram, I do that on my free time. And then I'd rather see a video about some industry news from an account that I'm following. You won't know all this, but I think it's important to just have in mind, because if you want to deliver your messages on several platforms, it's a good thing to keep with you. Next one is structure. So I'll use different hooks depending on where I publish and who I publish for. I will try to lure people in with different kinds of value points. And of course, different format types. I'll do videos, but I might actually also do some images. That leaves me with more room for the text in the captions. And I've written carousels here because I like carousels on LinkedIn, but then I heard that they are removing it. And I'm pretty sure they come up with some other format for that. And of course, you'll do videos in different lengths. You will talk about different things in your videos, and you will use different CTAs, call to actions, depending on what you want the person to do next. And I think also that there's an expression in Swedish, at least, it's riding someone on the nose, like you're afraid that you will make someone feel, well, that's obvious, by just telling them straight away, this is what you're going to get after you've consumed my video or my post. But I think of it, as our co-founder Fredrik calls it, like cognitive placeholders. I think it's a good thing for someone to know what I want them to do, or what I expect them to do, or what I hope they want to do after they've consumed my content. So if I have a longer video where I actually give 5 highlights from a report, I'll let people know that these are the 5 highlights. Take them, use them, do what you want. I don't expect you to go somewhere afterwards. I don't expect you to download the whole report. You can if you will, if you want to. But if I want them to go download my whole report, I will just get straight into it. Discover more on our site, or download the report here. Sign up with your email to receive the latest report. And this is what I mean when I talk about distribution the most, is the frequency. How often should you post? Well, that, I guess, depends. If you're working, if you can plan a quarter ahead that by the end of Q4, this report is going to come out and I want to give it this much attention, well, then you can plan for posting 5 times to one report. Or an interesting report shows up that you're unaware of, because that's what working in marketing is all about, is just discovering suddenly that, okay, this is how we need to do something about it. And that's why we need a template or a format or a module that you can work with when you're working ad hoc, as we have to do sometimes, to not get overwhelmed. And this was something that we talked about in the previous webinar about webinars, is that if you create 2 or 3 templates for one longer piece of content, and you do some small changes in it afterwards, that gives you social content for a month. And that is not a bad thing. And then I've written here that there is no such thing as posting too much, or is it? Well, I wanted to ask for your opinion here, and I'd be happy to hear from you. But according to me, no. Sometimes I'm a bit not concerned, but I make sure that I publish frequently. And I mean, the platform wants us to publish like once or twice, at least on LinkedIn. But I don't want, this is an expression I hope is okay, but I don't want the posts to cannibalize on each other. Because, I mean, we're like, we see thousands of messages every day. That is not a new thing. But if I post 2 things, they will inherently like compete with each other. And so I always just try to make sure that I give every piece of content enough time to reach people, if that makes sense. So if I know that, okay, on Wednesday, I have 1 employee highlight portrait coming out, but I also want to do something about my report, I'll probably do 1 thing in the morning and 1 thing in the afternoon, not too close to each other. Again, maybe this is just very super obvious to you, but I just want to share how I think, just so I can let you know that we're all in the same boat and we're just trying to make it through together. So give each post like a couple of hours maybe, to make sure that they get the attention they deserve. But then again, my employee highlight will appeal to certain people and the report insights to another. And then there's no really worry that they will cannibalize on each other, but just for the sake of it, better safe than sorry, I guess. Okay, so we're here. I've done this in 43 minutes, guys. Okay, I've done, quick water break. I've created, StoryKit hasn't published a report recently, so I decided to take someone else's. Of course, I've been smart enough to put the report in the fine print feature that we have, and always tagged the company that made the report, so that my back's free. The company is called WizOwl, and they're a video animation platform, if I'm not mistaken, but they release a state of video marketing every year. It's a report. They've asked, I don't know how many thousands of marketers around the world how they work with video, and they ask equally as many consumers on how they regard video and what they want to see more of, and what they think, what marketers feels is a challenge, what they struggle with when it comes to marketing. It's super nice. I'll make sure to include it in the slide deck as well, so you can have a look at it. You have to download it. So you have to leave your emails and receive some newsletter, but the newsletters are pretty good as well. So what I've done with the WizOwl report is that I've created what I called grab attention with numbers, but it's more of it's a statistical video trailer. So this goes for both in feed, but also as a converting video. You can choose depending on what call to action you choose to have. So I'll just play this in the background. You can have a look at it. The first slide here is our new dynamic number. It has like a count that I think is super cool. And it's just some cool statistics from this report that I've chosen, obviously, because it talks about the how powerful video is these days, which goes well with my point of view and everything. So it's quick. I think it's kind of fun, and it makes me intrigued, at least, to read more. But it's also just a cool couple of numbers that you can send out to a prospect or a client, a customer, someone within your organization, just to share some cool facts. Of course, a summary video. Oh, there's sound here. I'll mute that for now. So this is 30 seconds, and it's just trying to offer like a concise summary of what this is about. Just choosing a few things. Often, a lot of times, your report itself contains a summary, so you can just choose that one and put it into the AI, or put it in your storyboard. You choose. And then a bit longer one, which is a listicle video with the top insights of your report. So this is a bit longer. As I said, it's almost a minute. But this could be 5 fascinating facts about how you've performed this year when it comes to your finances, 5 interesting facts about your efforts in sustainability, the 5, if you've hired 5 new stakeholders, you can highlight them. Really just choose like a couple of paragraphs and a couple of headlines and just use that. It's all about using what you already have. So I haven't done, what are you going to call it? My job. I've talked to you for a long time. So I will, of course, send these videos out so that you can have a look at them afterwards. But I would love to show you how you can use something in one report and use it in our AI to efficiently and super quick create a full video or a draft of a video in just minutes. So I'll jump into my StoryKit client, and I will use, this is the report that I was talking about, State of Video Marketing, conducted by WizOwl. And we talked about summary videos, so I think I found something. Let's go. This was about the ROI. This is a little text heavy, so we'll go with that one. Try it out. I will click new video. I'll probably post this on LinkedIn, so I'll go for my 1:1 format. I will choose a theme that I think is good, and I'll click write script. And if you've been in the webinars before, you know that we have a pretty new feature that's autofill assets from, and you can choose whatever library you like to work with, and you can also include stock assets and music. It includes stock assets if you don't have enough enough assets in the project that you're working in. And based on your script, it will also it will choose a song from the music premium library. But I have of course, since this is live television, I've created some, what's it called? Asset libraries for this. I'll go with the LinkedIn one just because that's a bit like what I see as professional. I'll click AI script creator, and from the Wizall video survey, I copied, and now I paste. And we have a bunch of creators that I hope you had the chance and time to check out. There's everything from press releases, recruitment, case stories, your evergreen blogs. If you want to tease something, there's a lot of product focused ones for e-commerce and newsletters. So regardless almost of what kind of video you want to do, there's a creator for you. And I think that this report goes somewhere in the category of press release or news because it's annual, so it's pretty new. We'll go with the news summary, so we can make a summary video. I click create script, and it will just work for a couple of seconds. This is the one. Okay, so remember now that I took an analysis piece of text. This is a summary of its own. There aren't like any statistics or numbers in this one, so it's like already text-based, which I think works well for a summary one. And it has, in just like seconds, turned this into a video script that I know will work for us at least. And you see that it's chosen some of the assets that I've put in my library before. We can have a look at view storyboard, and it's giving me the slide types that I've chosen for my theme that I think really works well. We click create storyboard, and now we're going into the storyboard, and this is where we can make changes or edits graphically, or if we want to add some highlight colors, if we want to add a fine print, I could show you that. Hello, maybe this is the internet. Oh, it did create one, sorry. What did I do now? View storyboard. Thomas says he can't see the screen. I'm sorry, guys. I'll try to refresh. That was a long pause. You're gonna think the sound is gone as well. Well. Ingrid sees the screen. Well, that's good. Thank you. I really appreciate your patience and for letting me know when it works and when it doesn't. We'll try once again. There is definitely something going on with my internet connection, even though I work for a tech company. 21st century. I can see it. You as well, Ida. Thank you. Okay, Thomas, I hope it appears for you as well soon. And I also have to say that I can see the participant numbers, and I'm really happy that you've stayed with me. Okay, so we're in the storyboard. And this is like no, this is where I can do some cool edits. I can perhaps do, okay, I will go up here and I will just copy paste this. And then in any slide that I like, I have the swipe plate now, but I can add a fine print. So if you have a report with a lot of research that you've made yourself, maybe if you're like a higher educational institution, or if you're an investigator, like conducting research on any type of industry, really, and you want to keep your back free, as we say, you can add in the fine print section down here, you can add the report, and I can just add WSL 2023. And as you can see, I hope, yeah, on the second slide here, we have a small piece of fine print at the bottom, and you can do this a lot smaller if you want to. You can go all the way down to like the super nitty-gritty fine print. It's so small, but at least you put it in, so you're safe, you know. Or make it a lot bigger, and you can choose if you want it with text color you want, if you want it put to the left or and centered, all of that. I think most of you are aware of the headlines and features that we have here. Either way, I have a video, I have something to distribute. I never know if this is going to resonate with people before I publish, but the only way to learn, to know, to gain insights of what's working for us is that I publish, and I'll see what happens. So I can just create video. And while it does that, actually, I can just show you here that in the music section, it's given me a song. I don't know if you can hear it, but check it out. Workout tutorial and corporate music, chill beats and retro video game. Oh, so we have 27,000 songs. So, but based on the script, that's probably has to do a lot about how companies see video marketing, and the fact that it's actually like a reports text. It's going to choose something that has to do with like a little corporate style. I had a listen. I think it sounds good. The video is creating. I can also, while I'm at it, just because I don't want to lose you, because I enjoy talking. I can show you the videos that I made for Maddie's article, which is 5 ways to get more eyes on your report. If you want to check it out, go to our blog. That's the CTA. So this is, here you can see my whole like way of distributing. For this one article, I made 7 videos in 1 week. I like 4 a week of publishing. This week I'll do even more. But here's the video summary that I did for the article on social. You recognize that. And I did the listicle video with the top 5 highlights. And I more or less just randomly chose whatever I thought was nice in here. Of course, we like the high numbers, like or it depends on what the high number is, really. But 57% of video marketers created screen recorded video in 2022. Okay, that's kind of interesting. And then I started with like a did you know, just because I think it's a bit fun with the call out slides. And I've just used the dynamic list because it's everything you want from a list slide, according to me. And this is kind of fun if you have the time. Is that I think this might be a bit too long of a thing, but StoryKit used to be the company Kit that like revolutionized the way people consumed video in social and how video was distributed and produced. And they discovered that the retention rate, meaning how long someone watches a video, increased a lot when they flipped the numbers around. So instead of starting at 1, going 1 to 5, starting at 5 and counting down increases the retention, increases the time that someone spends watching a video, because inherently, like biologically, I guess, we get eager to see what's number one. And so that's a little tip that I have. But okay, this video is done. I'm talking too much, so you didn't really get a chance to see how fast it was. But I hope you can see it. It's a summary video. It gives a great summarize of what remember now that this was a summary of a chapter in the report. You could do a summary of the whole report, of course. And there's a cool statement in here, a statistics. And then it says at the very end, read more to learn of video marketing benefits. So I can then include download the whole report by following the link in comments. Okay, so we had time for one AI video at least. I hope that's something, and you can use these videos for yourself whenever you want to, after I've sent out the slide deck for you. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you off the hook. Thank you again. I hope you gained some sort of inspiration, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.